Imagine strolling past a billboard so predatory it makes a payday loan office look like a convent. One shot a week, lose weight. For decades, we've been told weight loss is a 12-round heavyweight bout against a refrigerator. It demands monk-level discipline and a diet made of air and sadness. So when a supposed miracle like Ozempic whispers that your waist can melt with a weekly jab, it lands like the ultimate life hack, a glitch in the matrix, right? But what if that miracle is a biological roach motel, easy check-in, hard check-out for your metabolism? What if the lightness you feel is casting a shadow so wide it blocks the view of your long-term health? Today we're decoding the dark psychology that makes this promise irresistible, the brain hacks behind it, and the hidden invoice that shows up later. Here's why it feels like freedom. Present bias makes immediate relief trump distant costs. Relief itself becomes addictive, and the scale turns into a slot machine paying out validation. That cocktail shuts off critical thinking. To understand the trap, you have to understand the heist. Deep in your gut, little sensors called L cells release a messenger after you eat. GLP-1, your body's polite bouncer. It walks up to the brain's VIP rope and tells the hunger hormones, "All right, folks, the party's over, go home." It also tells your body to park excess sugar into your muscles and liver while slowing the exit of food from your stomach. The natural signal is brief, tidy, balanced. Think Swiss watch. But Big Pharma decided to take that bouncer and give him a flamethrower and a kilo of caffeine. They engineered drugs that flood your system with 100 times more GLP-1 than nature intended. The result? Your appetite doesn't just leave, it goes into witness protection. Food empties more slowly, insulin works more efficiently when sugar is high, and the brain's reward center stops blasting you with food noise. Your brain is chemically gaslit into believing you've just finished a 7-course Thanksgiving feast when you haven't even looked at a cracker. But it isn't magic, it's a sustained signal changing how your brain prioritizes food. And when relief arrives fast, our psychology stitches a story. The drug fixed me, the struggle was all in my head, details don't matter now. Because when a tool makes change easy, our brains quietly outsource agency, stop building habits, and ignore the fine print on body composition. The scale cheers and critical thinking takes a nap. Present bias does the rest. Immediate peace now feels more valuable than vague risk someday. That's not weakness, it's human. But the body still runs a ledger, and it will collect. Which brings us to the blind spot hiding behind the falling number on the bathroom scale. The drug lowers intake with ruthless efficiency, but it doesn't decide what you keep or lose. That's up to your protein, your movement, and time. When the number drops, we assume it's the spare tire shrinking, but the scale is a terrible detective. It reports change, not substance. Your body is made of fat mass and lean mass, muscle, organs, water, glycogen, the stuff that lets you stand up, think clearly, and stay independent. Slash calories hard and move less because food feels boring and the engine sells parts to meet payroll. You didn't just burn fuel, you pawned prime real estate. That's why rapid losses can show up as weaker lifts, slower walks, aches, and a face that looks oddly deflated, the half-melted candle effect. Not inevitable, but common when protein, lifting, and deliberate movement don't ride shotgun. And here's the kicker. If you stop the drug without a plan, hunger roars back while you're working with a smaller engine.
Research shows that up to 40% of the weight lost on these shots is actually precious muscle mass. You might look thinner in your selfies, but underneath, you're turning into a human jellyfish. You're degrading your body's foundation faster than a beach house in a hurricane. Why is this a disaster? Because muscle is your longevity 401k. You need it to stand up, to move, and to avoid looking like a pile of laundry as you age. But the dark side is even worse. Muscles are your glucose dumps. They are the VIP entrances for blood sugar. When you start nuking your muscle mass, you're essentially boarding up the windows of your metabolism. You're trading a smaller waistline for a metabolic system that's about as efficient as a screen door on a submarine. It's a recipe for chronic fatigue and long-term dysfunction. Losing muscle isn't cosmetic damage, it's functional debt. And the older you are, the harder it is to rebuild what you lose. This is where the shadow fully closes in. Because these drugs can cause you to shed muscle like a cheap sweater, you're essentially rewriting your terms and conditions to favor the house. See, while you're on the shot, your insulin sensitivity is sky high. It's a chemical honeymoon. But the moment you stop, the party's over. You've engineered a body that is now a high-performance fat storage unit because you've evicted your primary sugar burners, your muscles. This means you're backed into a corner. You might have to stay on the medication forever just to maintain the new, fragile you. It's not a cure, it's a subscription model for your own existence. It's the ultimate buyback program. When people stop the injections, which they do because who wants a second mortgage in a syringe, they regain about 70% of the weight. But here's the sinister twist. It doesn't come back as muscle. It comes back as pure, uncut fat. You're left with a higher body fat percentage and a slower metabolic engine than before you ever took your first dose. The drug effectively guarantees its own recurring revenue by making your body dependent on a chemical to do what your muscles can do for free. At the end of the day, this obsession is a mile-wide problem with a minute-deep understanding of the consequences. We are so desperate for a cure that we're willing to swallow the poison as long as it comes with a smaller pant size. Why do we need a synthetic shot to stop eating? Because our food landscape is more toxic than a toxic ex's Twitter feed. It's designed to hit your brain harder than a Mike Tyson hook. Using a drug to fix this is like finding out your house is on fire, and instead of calling the fire department, you just take a pill that makes you not mind the smoke. So, if you aren't ready to hand the keys of your metabolism over to a pharmaceutical valet, what can you actually do? How do you fight back without the needle? First, you have to treat your protein intake like a religion. Protein is the only macronutrient that requires your body to actually work to burn it. It's the thermic effect, and it's the closest thing to a natural fat burner we have. If you aren't hitting your protein goals, you're basically trying to build a skyscraper out of wet cardboard. Next, you have to embrace the heavy metal. I'm not talking about Metallica, I'm talking about resistance training. Muscle is expensive tissue. It costs your body calories just to sit there and exist. By lifting heavy things, you're telling your biology that your muscle is essential, forcing your body to burn the fat stores instead of the engine parts. It's like upgrading your metabolic software from a 1998 floppy disk to a liquid-cooled supercomputer. And finally, you've got to kill the invisible sugar. We are living in a sea of high fructose corn syrup that's engineered to bypass your full switch. Swap the liquid calories for water, get your fiber from actual plants instead of a supplement box, and stop letting processed food companies rent space in your hypothalamus. You'll need a chemical bouncer if you stop inviting the hooligans into the club in the first place. It's not the easy way, it's the only way that actually lasts. True metabolic freedom doesn't come from a needle. It comes from building muscle, lifting heavy things, and breaking the addiction to the food-like products in the middle aisles. I want to know your take on this. Have you already signed up for the subscription to these shots, or are you skeptical of the miracle marketing? Drop a comment below and let's get into it. If this breakdown helped you see through the fog, hit that subscribe button. We expose the hidden mechanics of psychology and health every single week. Stay strong, protect your foundation, and I'll see you in the next one.